Okay, we are on page 73 of Masachet Shabbat, Daf Yomi cycle. And what came up a lot was bowing, prostration, in front of kings, in front of statues, in front of places that are inappropriate or appropriate. And what I want to talk about is the whole subject of bowing. And bowing, prostration, is a whole subject on its own in the ancient world. Now, here's my crib notes that we're going to do today. And bowing or prostration is a fascinating topic, actually, because even though it's mentioned about falling on your face, we see that a lot in Chumash with Avraham, Moshe, and we see that that's a way of approaching God. But in terms of doing so to a statue or to a person or to something of that nature, a little more, I guess, concrete, that seems to originate in ancient Persia. And in ancient Persia, we know this because we have wall carvings and other artistic expressions where you have the god or the king with people prostrating themselves or bowing in front of you. Now, the word prostrate actually is a word from Greek that comes from pro-strate. Pro means in front of, and the other term means kiss. So originally, people didn't bow in the Greek world like the way we think of bowing, by bending your waist either to the ground or just halfway down. They didn't think that that was appropriate at all, and they didn't see that as part of their culture. Where we do see people bowing all the way down in terms of art or expressions is in ancient Egypt. And in ancient Egypt, we see somebody doing so, bending down at the waist, having their hands touch the ground, and looking at the ruler or at the god, depending on how you see a ruler. We see also sometimes people in Greek art just bowing a little bit and taking their hand, putting it over their mouth in an attempt to show a kiss. So that's the way things usually were. Now, why I say Alexander the Great, and I had him on my crib notes, if you recall, here. Alexander the Great lived in the mid-4th century, and he started off in ancient Macedonia, in Greece, right? And he traveled all the way to the Gobi Desert, actually, to Iran. And he wanted even to go further, but he contracted some kind of illness there and died. His soldiers did not want to go further. It was very dangerous and uncomfortable, and it didn't work well, but he kind of pushed everybody because his might was to take over the whole world, and he was very interested in going further east for his sort of religious interests. Alexander the Great talks about bowing in front of people, and one of the people he talks about is in front of Shimon HaTzadik. And he doesn't do it himself, but there's historians. One of the historians is named Callisthenes. I should do some, actually. I'm late in the day for doing some, but Callisthenes is a name of an ancient historian around the time of Alexander who used to travel with him and write down his exploits. Partly fiction, partly fact. It doesn't make a difference. He talks about this issue of bowing. And he actually refers to when Alexander the Great went to Eretz Yisrael. There's a big debate about how far he went in, but it doesn't make a difference. He went definitely to Eretz Yisrael, and maybe the coast, maybe the interior, maybe it says that he went to Yerushalayim. Actually, there are a lot of accounts on that. And that when he saw Shimon HaTzadik come out to him, the Kohen HaGadol, when he saw him come out, he actually got dismounted from his horse and bowed down. And all the people around him, all the rulers and the nobles and the martial people said, "What are you doing? Why are you bowing to this person? Why are you bowing in general? Bowing is an odd thing." So Alexander responded, number one, I believe in it. I think bowing is a way to show respect. And number two, I saw Shimon HaTzadik in a dream, and he instructed me on all my battles. So the two together showed that Alexander the Great wanted to appropriate the ancient Persian mechanisms of showing respect. Now, in Latin, the way that they use that word is adoration. So we adore, that's how we talk about somebody. We adore somebody, is that we respect them and we love them and we want to show them all this, just like we use it, we adore them. We just want to show all of our neediness for them in a way. And therefore, the term has come to mean something a little different. But the whole notion of bowing and prostration is fascinating. And we don't actually know really where it all came from in this way, but we think this is the style. That is, summary here, ancient Persia. First of all, you see it in the Tanakh. Ancient Persia comes to Alexander the Great. He brings it to the West, and then the West sort of embraces it as a mechanism of duty and adoration and respect.